Hello, pocket knife community, knife lovers, knife enthusiasts, interested viewers. Folder here. I want to do a video on my top 10 favorite knives in my collection. Every knife collector, vlogger, knife enthusiast pretty much does their top 10 or their favorite knives. But I must say that this type of if you're a collector, this list changes. I would, an avid collector would probably have to do one of these videos. One of these videos, at least once a year, right? At least once a year, when you acquire new knives, and all of a sudden that list changes around, right? I just want to add before I start the video that these are my top 10 favorite knives. It doesn't mean they're my best knives. Doesn't mean that these knives can solve all the problems of the world. No, knife collectors, I would say at least have to have 5 knives: a hard use knife, a knife, a safe queen, at least one, one that you use for fine work or whatever. There's just different categories where you might need knives. Well, my top 10 favorite knives, right, they don't cover every category. That's one thing. No single knife can, really. Also, I would like to say that my favorite knives, this list is a compilation of the individual knife. Meaning, let's just say, let's take the PM2 for example, right? When I put this knife in my list, it's this particular PM2. It might be the blade steel, it might be the scales, it might be something that I did to it. It might be just because I've had it for so many years, I feel some attachment to it, or whatever. So it's not all PM2s that fit in that category. It's this specific knife. Okay, so all right, so let's just get started. But before we officially get started on my top 10, I just want to do an honorable mention because it was just really difficult to do this. Obviously, I got a lot of knives, so it was hard really to put together this list. I'm gonna do honorable mention, and the honorable mention is not in any particular order. And it turns out that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I had actually eight knives that are in my honorable mention of my top 10. They just couldn't quite break into that top 10 for me. Yeah, so all right, so let's just get into it. No particular order. Definitely no, especially for the top, for the honorable mention, definitely no particular order. But we're gonna start out with the Leon Ma Field Duty. This knife used to be in my top 10. It's not anymore. And like I said, you acquire new knives, things happen, you carry it for a while, you use it. Not to say that this is not an amazing knife and that I don't absolutely love this knife, because I do. The fat carbon, the titanium bolsters, the S90V steel with the hand grind lines, the huge deployment hole on this thing that makes the reverse flick very satisfying. So yeah, but yeah, it just couldn't quite break into my top 10 this year. So that's the Leon Ma Field Duty honorable mention. Another honorable mention is my flagship. This is crazy. My flagship Manix 2. My flagship Manix 2 is not in my top 10. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. It's my flagship because this is the first Manix 2 that I ever kind of did. I got the aluminum scales, the custom backspacer. It has S30V. I never changed the steel because I wanted to keep its age, but I love this knife. Really love this knife. This knife is not for sale. Yeah, and it's an amazing knife. It's ridiculous smooth action. But the PM, the Manix 2 does have an inherent flaw that I've never mentioned, and I'm going to mention it now, and it's probably one of the reasons why it's not in my top 10. The Manix 2 needs a screw back here. It really does. I'm just saying. I mean, this knife doesn't have problems, but it does need a screw back here. I think AWT actually did it with one of their scales to fix that issue. But at any rate, yeah, this is a great knife, but it is in my honorable mention. Another knife in my honorable mention is the yeah, field dude, the quiet carry drift. Yeah, quiet carry drift. Whew. Crazy knife, amazing knife, love it. Look at the milling, look at the screws. Like, you know how the face of the screws, such precision work inside the scales there. This is just an amazing knife on top of being corrosion proof. You know, Vanex super clean, one of the best steels ever made, a super steel, can't rust. And obviously some really high grade titanium. Amazing knife, honorable mention, just outside the top 10. Love that knife. Also, too, if you notice, the prices of these knives are going to be all over the place. I don't have price as a factor for my top 10, even though sometimes it turns out that some of your top knives are the more expensive knives. It just, you know, it kind of doesn't mean that it has to be that way. My next knife in my honorable mention, like I said, I have 8 knives in the honorable mention, is the Tucson Maverick. Woo! Love this knife, man. This is one of the best budget knives I think ever. The Maverick, TS 177 Maverick. Love it. The action on this thing is incredible. The flipper tab, amazing. It has a few shortcomings. It has a few little things about it that are not, you know, quite ideal, but for the most part, man, this is a really good knife. You know, sub $200 knife, and it is really incredible. I mean, just the action is great. I love these scales, these 3D scales with the heavy, rough texture finish on it. The blade steel, M390, you know, just, I think it's M390. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so nah, really amazing knife. Love this thing. Just outside the top 10. What's next? Okay, you know, I'll bring out my AWT PM2. Oh my goodness, I love this knife. Oh, my ultralight all aluminum AWT PM2 in S90V steel did not make the top 10. Yes. Oof, crazy. You know, part of the reason why this knife is not in my top 10, and you know, listen, like I keep saying, it's not, the top 10 just means they're my favorite. It doesn't mean they're my absolute best knives. This knife, I don't know why Spyderco didn't make the button lock for this compression lock. Why they didn't just change that. They let the compression lock expire. Now you can just put a button on this thing. A button, and Blaze We Love did it, you know, and it makes the knife so much better with a button on that compression. You know, I don't know why they didn't just do that. Like after they made this, I mean, it makes the knife so limited like that. You know, it's truly a right-handed knife. I mean, it really is. But anyway, yeah, my Applied Weapons Technology scales are ultra light on this knife. It makes the knife just incredible. And S90V steel speaks for itself. But yeah, my AWT PM2 barely, just right outside that top 10, you know, right outside that top 10. I mean, just amazing knife. I got 3 more honorable mentions coming. This is a killer right here. I love this knife. Rick Hinderer design ZT0562 Ti. Woo! 20 CV steel, slicer grind blade. Oh my goodness, I love this knife. This knife is absolutely, I have this knife in carbon fiber also, but I must say that the titanium version of this knife is better than the carbon fiber. It really is. And that doesn't always resonate with every knife. It just is a much better knife in titanium. It sounds very different. when it opens and closes because of the titanium. The action's different and the feel is different because the scales are exactly the same. The carbon fiber one has a liner and a scale, and it just feels a little off in your hand, and it just can't stand up to the titanium version. And I have these special screw set that I put in this thing. I had the clip polished, the black polished off the clip, you know, to give it this whole monochromatic look. This knife is absolutely outstanding. This is a badass knife. It really is. The ZT-0562 Ti, just barely outside the top 10. I mean, oh my goodness, it's very difficult not to put this in my top 10. Two more. Another Manix 2. Yes, my second Manix 2. I just had to put this knife in honorable mention. This knife is absolutely incredible. This is Koenig, so I had this custom made. No two Koenig scales are the same because it's a poured thing, so they'll never have the same exact pattern. So it is a custom scale, and it's in, as you can see, a DLC coated, or PVD, yeah, DLC coated Crewware steel. Crewware is one of my absolute favorite steels. In my opinion, Crewware is one of the closest steels to MagnaCut, in my opinion. Crewware is not a stainless steel, but it's got, I think, 8% of chromium, so it's very close. It's out of the non-stainless steels, it is the absolute most difficult to rust. If you're gonna have Crewware rust on you, you really were abusing that knife. So Crewware, before MagnaCut came out, Crewware, man, it had the edge retention, it had the strength, and not being a stainless steel, it was very stainless still. Very stainless, somewhat stainless, somewhat stainless. But by adding the coating, it helps it a lot. And if you keep a little bit of oil on it, you'll never have a problem with Crewware. I very rarely hear of people, Crewware doesn't even patina. You know, it doesn't. It's just, it's an amazing steel. So I love Crewware. Crewware is, even to this day, one of my absolute favorite steels. I mean, it's really up there, just, you know. And that was 7. And here's number 8, the last knife that is in my honorable mention. This is actually a shocker. This knife is a shocker. When I got this knife, I didn't really think that much of it. Not that I didn't think much of it. It's just that I already had it in the G10 version, and when it came, I love the G10 version of this knife. So when the titanium came out, I said, "Oh, I gotta get it. I gotta get a titanium." It's a Tribeca, Giant Mouse. Giant Mouse does it again. Giant Mouse Tribeca. This knife rocks. Oh my goodness, this knife is so ridiculous. I know the camera doesn't do this knife justice. It has contoured scales, so the scales have a contouring to them. The titanium is just ridiculous on this knife. It's very dense, very heavy. It gives the knife a super premium feel. It really does. Yeah, really nice, man. It's just really nice. It's got the satin finish blade, the moderate belt lines there, and it's MagnaCut. Yeah, it's in MagnaCut, man. MagnaCut is the shizit. So yeah, man, this is the Giant Mouse. The action on this knife is beautiful. The reverse flick is so strong. Yeah, I can't say enough about it. Flipper tab is perfect. Feels amazing in hand. Really generous front finger choil. This knife, you know, yeah, just missed the top 10. Honorable mention all day. But yeah, this is in my honorable mention, my top 8 of my absolute favorite stuff. But you know what that means? That means we're done. We're done with honorable mention time, buddy. We're getting ready to move this stuff out the way. We're getting ready to rock into the top 10. Yeah, this is gonna be crazy. This is definitely gonna be crazy. You know what? Let me just do a little hocus pocus here, because the top 10, you know, the top 10 has to get some special treatment. Hold on a second, guys. Bow. Yeah, I had to do a wardrobe change. Yeah. Here we go for the top 10. Now, Out of my top 10, my top 10 through 5 are actually going to be in order. 5 through number 1, no, 5 through number 2 are not. My top 5 are interchangeable. I love all 5 of them so much, it doesn't even matter, except for number 1. My number 1 knife is definitely number 1, but everything 2, 3, 4, and 5, you can switch them around any way you want, because I can't choose. I can't choose. Okay, so all right, so here we go. Woo, the top 10. Number 10 in my top 10 is the BAM! We Knives Nusia. Oh my goodness, this knife is off the hook. Yo, this knife is absolutely crazy. This knife is really crazy. I really had no idea how this knife was going to impact me. But yeah, I love carrying this thing. Love carrying it. The titanium is amazing. I didn't get the absolute top tier level of this knife, because when I got it, I was like, I don't have to get that, because I just, but now, one day I will get another one, and I'll get the flagship version of it that has the grind lines, and I love this knife that much. This knife is beautiful. The action is perfect. In hand, it just feels incredible. This is definitely an amazing knife. Really nice. I just got it this year, and it broke into my top 10. So yeah, the We Knives Nusia, number 10. Yeah, beautiful, unbelievable. Can't say enough about it. So, all right, that's 10. Let's get to number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Oh boy, number 9. Precision Knife Works One Attack. The One Attack. Yo, this thing is crazy. Yeah, really nice knife. Precision Knife Works, they really did their thing on this knife, man. I mean, this is one of my absolute favorite knives. Like, regardless of price. I don't care what the price you're talking about. This thing is just fantastic. I absolutely love carrying this knife. It sits so well in pocket. The pocket clip is absolutely perfect. It feels great. It's 3.6 ounces, so it's nice and light. It's got that Warncliffe blade hollowed. I tell you, this is the year of hollow grinds for me. I really appreciate a hollow grind more than ever. And I used to not be so much into hollow grinds, but I'm really heavily into hollow grinds because, it's just slicey. Oh, it's just so slicey. And I get it. You want tough knives sometimes because you want stuff to be so tough, and hollows traditionally don't breed toughness, but it's all about the cut, baby. It's all about the slicey. So yeah. Anyway, the One Attack is number 9. Number 9 in my favorite top 10. Getting down, moving right along. Number 8. Oh, this thing. Juggernaut is number 8. Yeah, man, Juggernaut. The Demco AD10. Really the cold steel AD10. Andrew Demco design. This version of the AD10 I absolutely love. It is the Tanto, right? The Tanto version. It comes in a spear point also, but I really love this one. I really love the shape of the blade stock thickness. I did the original goat scales on this. They're incredible. Sort of like titanium fluted pattern here. It makes the whole back spacer that's lined up right with the blade. Just the whole way this knife is set up is just absolutely amazing. I will say it is a tank of a knife. I believe this thing is at 10 ounces, so it's not for the faint of heart. and it is absolute razor sharp. And I'm going to tell you that S35BN, the heat treat on this is, there's something with that. Like, there's something with that we can't quantify. You know, metallurgy is an amazing thing, right? So they came at S35BN, Cold Steel did their heat treat on it, and this thing is just tough. It's tough. It's tougher than probably what the numbers are. The numbers read, the HRC reads. You know, I've seen some torture tests on these knives, and they hold up, man. They really stand up. So anyway, this is this is my number 8 in my top 10. My AD10 tank of a knife, 10-ounce monster, Juggernaut. That's Juggernaut right there. Love it, absolutely love it. Moving right along, and we're back. We're back to the family now. We're back to the family, number 7. Bam! Giant mouse. Yeah, the GMP5. Yeah, that's what it is. The limited edition milled giant mouse. Amazing. Number 10. This is number 10 of the of 100 of these knives ever made. And I bought it, obviously. I didn't buy, well, it's not obvious, but I did buy it on the secondary market because I wasn't into knives like I am now when this knife came out. I'm not sure what year it was. It's kind of irrelevant. Maybe 2017, maybe something like that, 16 or 17. So at any rate, that's how Giant Mouse does it. You know, they make limited runs on these things. The Ace line, which is the production version of this, is not a frame lock. They come out with liner locks. This is the frame lock, full titanium frame lock. You know, L-Max steel. Yeah, and this thing is badass. It really is badass. I just love the whole way this knife is. The work on this knife is just absolutely incredible. It is really, my lighting is not great. Come on, man. This is my top 10 video. My lighting's supposed to be perfect for this video. What's going on, folder? All right, pick it up. Got more lights here to pick it up here? Okay, we'll see. All right. Anyway, yep. That is number 7. The GMP5 Giant Mouse. Oh, man. Now, you know, I'm going to tell you. This knife here, that's number 6, used to be in my top 5. Now it's number 6. It doesn't mean I love it any less. It easily can be in the top 5. It is just the most amazing, one of the most amazing knives out there. Really love this knife. It's the bam. Whoo! Did you hear that? Wait, let me do that again. Bam! Wow! Oh my goodness! Look, drop shutty action. Whew. The Koenig Arius. Oh my goodness, this thing is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous tool. It is just, look at that drop shut. Oh, I messed up the reverse flip on camera for my top 10. Man, look at the milling on that. This is like fingerprints can't be formed on this knife. You know, beautiful hollow grind, right? Drop point blade, top swedge, beautiful top swedge. It has sort of a fuller here that comes right off the edge of the blade, right next to the tang, that opens up to a beautiful deployment hole. Whew. You got the stone finish on my particular one. You got the regular satin up here, and anodized hardware. Really nice. Oh, yeah, really amazing knife. I love this thing, Koenig Arius. It is also not for sale. You know, if I got rid of this thing, I would just be trying to find another one. It wouldn't make sense. You know, and this knife was always in my top 5. It just kind of moved into number 6. It really doesn't mean anything. To be honest with you, this could move into number 5, 4, 3, or 2 with no problem. It really could. That's how good this knife is. Incredible knife. Love it. That's the Koenig Arius. And now, we are down to the top 5. The top 5 favorite knives for folder. Yeah, there's a folder in my pocket. And, yeah. So let's just get into this top 5. Let's stop playing around. Let's just do it. Okay? The top 5. Number 5. Remember, 5, 4, 3, and 2 technically are interchangeable. Okay? But number 5 in my top 5 is the BAM! Demco AD20. Oh my goodness. Stop. 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 Cut it out. Stop. Oh. 20 CV steel. Original gold. Full. Unlined. Well, yeah, definitely unlined, but even unmilled. 8.2 ounce. Demco. With the amazing shark lock. Incredible shark lock. This is a big knife. Big knife, beautiful. Love the Demcos. Love the Demco. This is the shark's tooth pattern on this particular knife. This knife started out Grivory, yellow at that. And yeah, it's my top 5. Number 5 of my top 5. Love it. 80/20. Full size Demco 80/20. Yeah. Yeah, that's some serious stuff right there. That is some serious stuff right there. All right. Number 4. Oh my goodness. I can't take it. You know what? I'm going to just stop right here. I'm going to stop because I can't take it. I just can't. Ah! Okay. Let me keep. All right. Number 4 is. BAM! My copper Hinderer. Oh my goodness. So it's a Hinderer XM18 3.5. I call this my gris oro. Gray, all gray knife. Full titanium. Oro is gold. Really copper, but you know, gold color. It's the Bowie. The Bowie version. So that's the Bowie cut on that blade. I love the Bowie. And the thing so crazy about this is I don't like upswept clip points. I absolutely do not. But man, when I saw the blade on this, there's something the way Hinderer does the cuts on their blades that is just so attractive to me. Really, really, really is. I mean, oh my goodness. So yeah, I got the copper package here. Okay, the 35-year anniversary badge, the over travel stop, the backspacer, and one of the barrel standoffs done up in copper. I think it just makes the knife look incredible. It really just adds the most beautiful highlight to this knife. The action on this knife is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Just butter smooth. Yeah, really, 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 really love this knife. That's number 4. I don't know if I could take this anymore. My heart is racing. Number 3. Yeah, this is really difficult right now. Oh, number 3 is also BAM! Hinderer. Also another Hinderer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this is the Millennium Stallion. Dubbed the Millennium Stallion. It has my frag scale patterned full titanium scale. This is a slicer grind and full no choil slicer grind. It's got a custom hollow grind job on the blade. So as you know, the Hinderers do not come this way at the factory. So yeah, this knife probably out of my Hinderers is the smoothest Hinderer I have. It is just so smooth in its action. It is really amazing. Hinderers, before I got into Hinderers, but the ergos on Hinderers, if you don't know about Hinderer knives, the ergos, for me, my personal opinion, for me, the ergos are the most amazing attribute of these knives. The ergos are incredible. They literally melt in your hand. They feel so incredible in hand, these knives. So, yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's number three. Number three. Yep. Oh man. Now down to number two. Oh man. So I guess for me, bam, Rick Hinderer is just, this is the year to Hinderer for me. Um, this is my most recent um, acquisition. I built this knife myself. I got a regular stock Hinderer. I had the knife. I did the I had the blade custom ground, and obviously purchased the scales and the hardware and assembled the knife. So yeah, the scale on the show side is Zircuti. It's zirconium titanium alloy, uh, flame anodized. Absolutely gorgeous. Knife also is a Warncliffe, which for me, this is the year to Warncliffe for me. I love Hinderer Warncliffe. Love it. I mean, just the lines on the way he does the Warncliffe and the Bowie, you know, yeah, really, really, really love. It's got a front finger choil. This thing feels incredible in hand, and the action on this is actually also butter smooth. I mean, just absolutely amazing. I can really, really appreciate, appreciate these knives. That's number two. So these knives don't really have an order, really, for me. I mean, I really can take these and switch them around anyway. You know, really like these four a lot. Number one is very special for me. Number one, this knife hasn't been unseated. Right? Any other top 10 I've ever done, this has always been my number one, and it still is. Yeah. So anyway, without any further ado, drum roll. Number one, the show special Demco 8020. Crew wear steel, enhanced blade. As you see, the top swedge on that blade is the enhanced version of the blade. Crew wear steel. It's got original goat expanse scales, unlined of course, with no weight saving at all. This is a show special from the 2021 knife show. It was a knife acquired from the Andrew Demco booth, and all those knives were machine ground by Andrew Demco himself. Whenever you see a Demco with a swedge like this in the front of the blade, as opposed to one without the swedge, the difference in the cut of the blade, these were almost all purchased at knife shows. I don't think you could get one of these off of a website or just buy one. You'd have to go to the show, to the booth, to get one of these knives, the Demcos, I believe. Now, I could be wrong. Even if I'm wrong, you don't see a lot of them. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of people have enhanced blade Demcos, but not a lot compared to people who don't. That's what I would say. But yeah, I absolutely love this knife. It is my number one. It clearly reigns supreme as number one, and thus it's been dubbed apogee. Apogee is the highest point. So for me, I know everyone has their thing out there. People have certain types of knives they love more than others, and some people out there might be looking going, Demcos, I don't even like Demcos. That's what makes the world what it is. That's what makes the world so beautiful. For me, this is it. You know, maybe one day I'll get into something else and it'll dethrone this. Maybe I'll get into a Medford. Maybe I'll get into some other brands, maybe some custom stuff. I'm not exactly sure. Like fully custom knives, I'm not sure. But as of right now, for me, only been collecting less than 2 years, this makes it for me. This floats my goat. It is just an absolute amazing knife. Love this. Saber grind, crew wear steel. It does reign supreme. I really thought it was going to be dethroned this year by the Hinderers. I really did, because these knives are no joke. But it just, that shock lock and what this thing is, it's crazy. So, but yeah, so that's it. That is my top 10 favorite knives 2023. Listen, I'm just ecstatic knife enthusiast, knife collector. I love pocket knives. They are definitely more than just knives to me. They're artwork. They're beautiful. I love the innovation and the I want to say technology, because it is. I mean, the creation of the shock lock is amazing. So these the envelope is constantly being pushed with knives out there, and they get better and better and better as time goes on. I mean, just incredible. So happy to be a collector during this time. And you know, I'm obviously very enthusiastic about it. So, but all right, so that's it. 2023, we're done. You know, we'll do another one next year. I mean, we'll see if anybody gets dethroned, right? Anybody gets pushed out of the top 5 or the top 10. But yeah, that was my top 10. All right, guys, that's all I got. Thanks.